months of chopping and changing, wheeling and dealing, the time has come. Tonight marks the start of the 1992 National Basketball League season, the Mitsubishi Challenge. The Melbourne Tigers take on the Canberra Cannons in what should be an exciting opener. The Tigers without Andrew Gaze, who's still in Italy, and in a new stadium, Flinders Park. The Cannons with new imports and a new coach. Stand by for all the action as season 92 gets underway. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephen Quartermain, and welcome to a noisy Flinders Park here in Melbourne for this big night of basketball. Tonight marks the start, the official start of the NBL season, the Mitsubishi Challenge, and it's also a historic night. For the first time, the Tennis Centre plays host to an NBL match, and playing tonight, the Melbourne Tigers against the Canberra Cannons. Joining me, as he will right throughout the season, is my co-commentator. It's great to finally get underway, and also it's such a fantastic stadium, isn't it, Bill?
It is a fantastic stadium. The atmosphere is good already, and I hope the game doesn't get lost in the excitement of the surroundings. The package is very, very nice. We're in for a very, very good game tonight. Melbourne underhand without Andrew Gaze, unfortunately can't get on the right plane back from Italy. We'll get back, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. So Tigers disadvantaged there. They'll have their hands full with the Cannons. I think the Cannons are a very solid team. I think they've been underestimated in the preseason polls.
I agree. Well, let's have a look at the head-to-head, the two coaches running these two teams tonight. And Lindsay Gaze, 8 NBL seasons, hasn't won a title yet, and his winning percentage is 47%. The other man for the Cannons is Barry Barnes, former coach of the Geelong Supercats, now up in Canberra. He's coached 11 seasons. He's a veteran, and his winning percentage is 58%. Well, someone else who knows all about coaching is our courtside reporter, Dean Templeton, and he's now speaking with Melbourne coach Lindsay Gaze.
Lindsay Gaze, Australia's Mr. Basketball. Did you ever believe that you'd be standing in a stadium with 15,000 capacity all those years ago when you were starting?
Well, it was always our mission. It was just a matter of time. Of course, today is a very exciting day. It's the realisation of a dream, I guess. And now the task is to make it work. We've got a very good team this year. The fans are great. I think we've got a good formula.
Now, of course, your son Andrew is still in Italy, not back yet, but you've got Lanard Copeland. How's he fitting in, and how will he cover Andrew tonight?
Well, Andrew's due back on Sunday. It's a pity he wasn't a couple of days early, because I think he deserved to be here on this very historic occasion. Lanard is a fine player. He's only been with us 3 weeks. We got him late. He's been fitting in very well. He's a very good athlete. Once he learns all of our stuff, that he's going to be a good player. In the meantime, I think he can still help us, and I guess some of the test will be tonight when we play Canberra.
Lindsay, all the best for tonight. Steve, back over to you.
Thanks, Dean Templeton, with all the scoops from the hoop. Sorry, Bill, I stole your line there. Let's have a look at the Tigers lineup. Of course, they've had an interrupted pre-season with their trouble with imports, and of course, Andrew Gaze still in Italy playing.
Well, new look backcourt then with young Stephen Whitehead starting to guard Ben, particularly that he would play guard this season. Lanard Copeland starting in the backcourt. He'll probably play forward during the year. Warwick Giddy, Robert Sidley, Jay Simmons, and the bench of Lenardon, Gordon, Vickerman, Purchase, Tenner. They'll come in when the bell rings and players get tired.
Well, of course, the Canberra Cannons had a terrible season last year. They've got a lot of new faces this year, and of course, looking to make amends with some new names.
Well, any lineup that stars the Australian star Phil Smythe, who's been a fixture on the Boomer team at point guard. Jamie Kennedy, off-sider for 5 or 6 years now. Steve Hood, their new American recruit. Jason Reese, another American recruit, played in Hobart last year. And Simon Control at center. Off the bench, some youngsters there, Armfield Stelzer, and then the league's evergreen, 37-year-old Herb McGeechan, back after broken leg last year, Witowski and Zauner.
Well, plenty of talent amongst those lineups tonight. Dean Templeton, if you had to pick 2 players to watch in the match, who'd they be?
Well, in the absence of Andrew Gaze, Steve, I picked David Simmons for the Tigers, 28 years old, veteran of 80 games. He'll be a big player for the Tigers and for the Cannons. Phil Smythe, 33 years of age, veteran of over 250 games. He's a key man for the Cannons. He plays well. He plays well. The Cannons win. And, of course, Steve, I'll be reporting to you all through the game, getting the dribble from the bench throughout tonight's game.
Oh, he's on fire already, isn't he?
Dribble, yuck. Try get a scoop or two, Dean.
Well, things are almost getting underway here. As you can see, magnificent stadium, Flinders Park, National Tennis Centre. Rod Stewart was here last week. Well, he's gone home now, but we've got something just as good, and that's the new basketball season.
As a matter of fact, Rod Stewart was here last night, and the court only arrived this morning, and the backboards finally only arrived at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So the staff here have done a fabulous job to put this game on and get it all together at once.
Of course, the Melbourne Tigers sharing Flinders Park this year with the South East Melbourne Magic, who make their debut tomorrow night against the Illawarra Hawks, and we'll have that game live and exclusive at 8:30 on Network 10. And we're away. Straight away, Dave Simmons slaps it to Copeland. Lanard Copeland jams it for 2. About 2 seconds that took, and what a fantastic start for the Tigers. Cannons now into attack. Reese. Jason Reese, 00, formerly from Hobart, opens the scoring for the Cannons.
Well, defense hasn't had a chance to play a part in this game so far.
What a great start. Lanard Copeland again. Inside to Simmons. Simmons gets the 2 points.
Very important in the scheme of things that you try and work the ball as close to the basket as you can, because the closer you get, the higher your shooting percentage. And of course, you get the 2 points from the field. But if you're outside that 3-point arc there that you see the golden arc, shots from that range are 3.
44 is Steve Hood, the new recruit for the Cannons. Can't make that shot. And the Tigers are away through the agency of number 33, Stephen Whitehead. Sibley is 52 for Melbourne, formerly of the Bullets. Now to Copeland for 2 points. Can't make the basket. Ball is slapped away, but it'll be a Canberra Cannons possession from the side.
Warwick Giddy slapped the ball out of Simon Cottrell's hand. He was the last person to touch the ball before it hit out of bounds. In basketball, the ball has to touch something out of bounds to be out of bounds. It can be over that vertical plane of the line, but it needs to touch something out of bounds.
00 for the Cannons is Jason Reese, American import. Made his debut last year for Hobart. Now he finds himself up in Canberra. Simon Cottrell, 2 points for the Cannons. 4 all early in the piece in this first quarter.
Simon Cottrell, nominally the center, that is the inside player on the Cannons team, but he has good range. He doesn't mind pulling out 10, 15, 20 feet away from the basket. Slapped out of his Stephen Whitehead's hand. The foul will be called on Phil Smythe. That's his first foul, and the referees make the judgment. That foul came when Whitehead was starting his shooting motion. And if you're fouled in the act of shooting, you get 2 foul shots. And if you actually score when you're fouled in the act of shooting, you only get 1 foul shot, but the 2 points from the shot count.
Stephen Whitehead playing his 59th game tonight for the Tigers, former member of the Australian youth team. And he's on the board tonight for his first points. 6-4, the Tigers lead here at Flinders Park. 44 for the Cannons is Steve Hood, the new recruit. Foul is called, and it's against number 6, Warwick Giddy for the Tigers.
Okay. Giddy called with a blocking foul, his first foul. You can stand in the path of a player, but as you see it on replay, Giddy came in, got into the side of Hood and impeded him, and that's a foul. But it wasn't a shooting foul, so the penalty is the ball is a foul against him, the ball from the side.
Copeland away for the Tigers, drives all the way to the basket, can't make the 2 points, but the Tigers still in control of the ball, and this time Lanard Copeland makes amends. For 2 points for the Tigers, Copeland has 4.
Well, he's fired up. That finger roll, that little scoop from the basket, his fingers were a couple inches short, but he stayed with it. The ball bounced free and very alertly got it back. Hood again working on Giddy, and a charging foul's called this time. That is a foul on the offensive player being the player with the ball, in this case Steve Hood, and he's called for warding off. We can't see it from the replay angle, but Hood is called by the referee for using his arm to try and lever the defensive player out of the way. And the penalty for an offensive foul is loss of possession of the ball, which the Tigers took in from the side.
Giddy, nice pass to Copeland. Dave Simmons, no basket though, basket disallowed. Thanks, Phil.
No score.
Well, Simmons is also called for an offensive foul. Just got into the back of the player that was trying to rebound in a pushing foul, and so that score was disallowed.
Phil Smythe, the captain of the Canberra Cannons, as he is captain of Australia. Fantastic champion. Reese gets the 2 points, and a foul is called, so he'll go to the line for an extra shot.
Well, this is the example of fouled in the act of shooting. And what happens there is that as Reese was shooting, he was fouled, but he continued his shot. It went in, so the 2 points count. Now he's given a bonus foul shot.
Reese misses the extra point. Rebound to Dave Simmons. Off to Stephen Whitehead, number 33 for the Tigers.
Whitehead picked up that last foul, and players are given 6 fouls in a game, and once they get to 6, they've got to sit and they can't partake in the game anymore. Good reverse layup by Whitehead, misses it, loose ball. Cottrell cleverly taps the ball back into Simmons, and it comes off his knee out of bounds. So Simmons was the last to touch the ball. That means the Cannons get it from the side.
8-6, the Tigers lead. 8:44 left on the clock in this first period. Of course, 4 12-minute periods played in the game. Smythe, number 6 for the Cannons. The General is what he's called. Reese inside the paint and gets 2 points. Jason Reese.
Reese now with 6 points, and he's not the most fluent sort of player, but he is very, very effective, uses his body well, and is very accurate from 15 feet and in. That foul line is 15 feet from the basket if you need to judge your scales out there.
25 is Simmons. Foul is called. Cue here.
In another example of a shooting foul, Simmons swings inside. You can see Reese, you can't see the contact, but you certainly can see Simmons reacting to the contact as Reese steps into him. Didn't hold his position, but stepped into the path of Simmons. Simmons was fouled in the act of shooting. The shot missed, so he gets 2 foul shots, and each foul shot counts 1 point.
Dave Simmons, 28-year-old, playing his 81st game for the Tigers tonight, averaging 25.9 points a game. So he is a big scorer. Reese the rebound for the Canberra Cannons. Off to number 4, Jamie Kennedy. To Reese. Out to Smythe. Fakes the shot. Goes for 2. Won't go. It'll be a Tigers ball from the side.
Cottrell really looked awkward that time. He was screened away from the rebound area very well by the Tiger front line. I think it was Warwick Giddy. And that's important when the shot misses. Try and get your body in position so that the ball's most likely to bounce to you. That's called blocking out. But Cottrell looked to me like he may have twisted a knee, and he's escorted it to the sideline. And into the game, here comes his substitute, and that's John
Stelter, number 11. Tigers with the ball. Copeland for 2. Lanard Copeland. He's hot early. He's got a big job tonight without Andrew Gaze in the team, and so far he's leading the way for Melbourne.
Copeland has 6 points at the moment, coming from 3 field baskets. Hood this time weaves his way inside. And again, we've seen a lot of fouls on players that are shooting, and that point's counted. He had started his shooting action. The foul's called on Sibley. It's his first foul. Remember, you get 6 in a game. And you can see Sibley there coming from the side and fouling him. The shot went down, so that's worth 2 points. And here's the bonus. Steve Hood with 1 foul shot. If he makes it, he just gets 1 point from it.
And in it goes for Steve Hood, making his debut in the NBL tonight. One of the big-name imports from America to come over this year and play in Australia. Had a stint with the Sacramento Kings in the NBA. An outstanding college player in the US, and he comes with a big reputation. Copeland with the ball for Melbourne, 21. Pass inside to Simmons, gives it off to Sibley. Oh, in and out. Basket doesn't count, and the Cannons come away through the agency of Phil Smythe.
Well, everybody turned around running up the court that time. It was phenomenal. They all thought it was in. 5 Tigers ran up the court, but it lipped out.
Cannons trying to be a bit too fancy there and turn over the ball. Giddy in possession and gives it off to Copeland. To Simmons. Foul is called. Let's go courtside to Dean Templeton.
Yes, Steve, just a report on Simon Cottrell's injuries. He's moving quite well now. I think he'll be able to come back into the game. Just a slight knee strain, but he'll be okay for the rest of the game.
And a timeout has been called here at Flinders Park, and it's the Tigers and the Cannons level at 11 points apiece. 6:42 to go. 11 points apiece here in the first period of the match between the Tigers and the Canberra Cannons. 6:42 left on the clock in this first quarter, and Lanard Copeland, 21 with the ball. Off to Sibley for the Melbourne Tigers, another new recruit this year. Been a tight opening first period here. Copeland. Back to Dave Simmons. Foul is called.
Foul there's on Jason Reese, his 2nd foul. Same thing, a blocking foul. Didn't get in the path of Simmons moving to the basket. Got him from the side. And again, Simmons was shooting, so we've seen a number of shooting fouls here. And Simmons goes to the foul line. So both teams getting a lot of foul shot practice at this stage. Simmons hits his first of 2, and that counts a point for him and takes his total in the game to 4 points.
Misses the second and a big rebound from Reese. Tigers in front by a point, 12 to 11, 6:24 left on the clock. A long shot from Jamie Kennedy doesn't stick, and a good rebound from Simmons. Quick pass off to Lanard Copeland. Copeland to Warwick Giddy.
That shot from Kennedy would have counted 3 points. It was outside that golden arch that you see on the floor. It's about 21 feet from the basket. It's a long shot. And again, we see an offensive foul called this time. I believe it was on Robert Sibley. I'm sorry, it was David Simmons, so it's his second. And what he did simply was block into a defensive player, just ran right into him. And if you set a block, if you set a screen in somebody's path, you got to be stationary.
Shot by the Cannons, misses. Copeland away with the ball for the Tigers. Goes all the way, and a charging foul is called. So, no basket. And the Canberra Cannons end up with the ball.
Well, this is really rapid-fire fouling out there. Now, you see the ball come down the floor. The defensive player was set. Copeland simply spun around, hit him right in the center of the chest. The defensive man has every right to stand there on the floor, and consequently, Copeland's called with the offensive foul. That racks up his personal total, and the penalty was that the Tigers lost the ball.
Jamie Kennedy, nice move, but again,
action, same thing, a charge. So the rules are getting a full workout here early on. We've seen charges, all sorts of fouls.
Does it perhaps the players so early in the season are keen to do well, a bit over anxious?
I think that that's undoubtedly what's going on. Everybody gets the ball and wants to make something happen right away. And what's happening more times than not is that they're fouling either offensively or defensively.
Matt Witowski in to the game for the Cannons to replace number 4, Jamie Kennedy. Stephen Whitehead with the ball for Melbourne, number 33. Gives it to Copeland. Copeland for 2 points. All met. And Lanard Copeland now has 8 points so far in this game. Reese up the other end, slapped away by Simmons. But Steve Hood manages to retain possession for the Cannons.
It didn't quite, Steve, because as he spun around, he stepped on the line, causing the ball to go out, so the Tigers will take over. That was good defensive work by Dave Simmons, making that block on the Cannons player, Jason Reese. Reese went in, and Simmons from behind got his hand on the ball, knocked it away without touching Reese, and it's a good block.
Tigers lead by 3. 5 minutes left in this first period. Copeland loses control of the ball, and the Cannons will take it from the side. Lanard Copeland, the top scorer so far tonight with 8 points. Reese has 6.
Interested to see Matt Witkowski, because his first NBL game, he's an absolute virgin rookie out there. Not an NBL game to his credit. And he's stuck in the game already with 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining to play in the first quarter. That's another missed 3-point attempt by the Cannons. They've tried 2 and drawn up blank on both of them.
Matt Witkowski, another member of the Australian youth team, making his debut tonight. 6th for Melbourne is Warwick Giddy. Gives it off to Sibley, 52. Foul is called.
John Stelzer picked up that foul, so the foul count is very, very high.
1-on-1.
And we see the situation when a team, as a team collectively, you get more than 4 fouls in any one quarter, you get into a bonus situation, which we'll see here. And that is a normal foul will result in a 1-on-1 situation. So Sibley will go to the line with 1 shot. If he makes that first shot, he gets a second. If he misses the first shot, that's it. Then he misses it, so that foul didn't hurt the Cannons all that much.
Phil Smythe, number 6 for Canberra. Had a bit of problem with the stress fracture of the foot pre-season, but the great player is. He's back here in the first game. Great pass inside, but doesn't work out for the Cannons, and Melbourne come away. They miss an opportunity there, Canberra, to score a 2-pointer. Giddy to Sibley. It's the pass off to Dave Simmons. Simmons drives to the basket and gets a nice 2-pointer. Dave Simmons has 6 points.
Boy, that was really tough, but the ball reversed the other way quickly. Let's look at this. And we see a foul called on Ray Gordon. It'll be a shooting foul. Giddy got way up to block the shot behind Gordon, but Gordon made the foul first. And so we'll see Matt Witkowski going to the foul line, 15 feet from the basket. And the basketball is half the size of the circumference of the ring, the diameter of the ring. So there's some room to put it in there, but not that much.
I'll never be able to get it in. That's probably why I'm up here. Witkowski came from the Australian Institute of Sport this year, 19 years old. Got a great future for the Cannons.
Well, he's been in the thick of it, hasn't he, Steve?
Yeah.
Almost every play since he's been on the court, he's had a hand in, both in positive ways and negative ways.
Sibley off to Simmons. 2 more points to Dave Simmons. Tigers lead 16-12. Let's go down to Dean Templeton.
Yes, down here, of course, there's a timeout. I should say there's a substitution for the Cannons. Lachlan Armfield, another rookie. He's playing his first game. He's come in for veteran Phil Smythe. So Lachlan Armfield seeing time in his first NBL game at the moment too. Number 7 for the Cannons.
I think it's great that Coach Barry Barnes, right at the start of the season, showing a lot of faith in these young players. And that confidence they get by getting in the first quarter of their very first game will hold them in good stead right throughout the season.
Especially if it gets tight in the last period too. I guess they've had some time on the court and they know what it's all about.
That's right. It indicates, look, son, you worked hard all year long. We trust you now. You're an NBL player. We don't have any second thoughts about you. You made the team and you're worth getting on the floor. And that's got to be a great thing for a young player.
They've got an interesting blend, the Cannons. They've got a couple of oldies, if I can say that, and a couple of very young ones too. So it all evens out in the end, doesn't it?
Well, you could say that. I don't know if they'll accept that. But it's very pleasing to see that warming up with them was Herb McGeechan, who broke his leg tragically midway through the season last year. At 37, nobody gave him any odds to get back, and he has. I don't know whether it's the action tonight. As you see the ball fed into Reeves, makes a nice spin and a 2-point basket.
Yes, of course, McGeechan broke his leg against the Tigers last year. But, he's about a month away, they say, from playing again. Lanard Copeland can't make the basket. Sibley, a strong rebound, and a foul is called against the Cannons. Doing some big heavy work under that basket is Robert Sibley in his first game for Melbourne after coming from the Brisbane Bullets.
Fouls on John Stelzer. That's his second foul. Again, you only get 6 in a game, and that's it for you. So the coaches always have to be aware of the foul count out there because they don't want one of their star players to pick up 4 or 5 fouls in the first half, because they need them there at the money time in the fourth quarter. So Sibley fouled. He did a good job getting that missed shot, which is called a rebound, and put it back up. Was fouled from behind by Stelzer. Shot didn't go, so he gets 2 foul shots. And again, each foul shot counts a point.
And Sibley misses the second. And the Cannons are away through the agency of number 7, Lachlan Armfield. Played just 8 games last year for the Cannons. 44, Steve Hood from a long way out, can't make the 3-pointer count, and another good rebound from Robert Sibley.
Sibley's done a great job on the board so far, particularly at the defensive end. That is, you don't want to give a team when they miss, so you don't want to give them the ball back. Ward Giddy with his first 2 points in the Mitsubishi Challenge.
21-14, the Tigers in front by 7 with 2 minutes 19 remaining in this first period. Sibley off for a rest. And on comes number 7 for the Melbourne Tigers for the first time, Steve Lanarden, former North Melbourne Giant, playing his 109th game this evening. Giddy, number 6, off to Gordon. To Giddy, inside to Lanarden, foul is called, and it's on number 14, Simon Cottrell.
So Cottrell, back after injuring himself slightly in the early parts of this quarter, came in, made a turnover, and a turnover is where your team has possession of the ball and loses it. They're vital in the scheme of things. You've got to try and get a shot up every time you get possession of the ball. But Cottrell came in, made that turnover, gave the ball back to the Tigers, and then picked up this foul against Lanarden, who had a one-on-one situation as he wasn't shooting, but he missed the first end of it, so that's all he gets.
So far tonight, 3 turnovers against the Melbourne Tigers, 7 for the Canberra Cannons.
Well, really, there's no home court advantage here, Steve, is there? Because the Tigers haven't played in here at this home floor for them either. In fact, it's the first time either team has stepped on the floor. In fact, any team stepped on the floor. Hood misses it, gets his own rebound, and puts it back in.
Steve Hood, one of the gun recruits this year in the NBL.
5 points now to Hood. Started slowly, but appears to be warming to his task.
Warwick Giddy. Out to Gordon. Lanard Copeland, good pass inside to Ray Gordon. That was a nice move from the Melbourne Tigers. And they lead now 23-16.
Lucky foul called on Warwick Giddy. We have it on replay. You'll see that he's extended his legs, and that's what the ball carrier ran into. And so he picks up that foul. At the other end, we saw Lachlan Armfield make the classic mistake when Ray Gordon got those 2 points. He looked at the ball and forgot to know where the man that he was guarding was, and the man he was guarding was Ray Gordon. Slipped right behind him, got the easiest basket. So very important when you're playing defense, particularly when your man doesn't have the ball, that you keep vision on both the ball and the man that you're guarding. 1-on-1 situation here.
Steve Hood, point number 6. 24-year-old. Had a stint with the Sacramento Kings in the NBA, playing his first game tonight. And the margin now back to 5 points, 23-18. Tigers lead, 1:19 left in this first period.
And a change in strategy. Canberra now starting their defense in the backcourt. Normally you start playing defense when the ball gets about where it is now, but they extend it over the 95 feet of the court.
Copeland. Bowls over Armfield, but plays allowed to go on. And Lanard Copeland, 3 points.
Copeland now with 11. He shot that basket behind the three-point arc, that gold line on the floor. And as long as you release the ball before you touch inside that line, it counts for 3. Any shot inside that line counts for 2. So it's a big basket.
And that was the first three-pointer of the night, believe it or not. Lanard Copeland. Long pass by Simon Cottrell, in fact, too long to Matt Witkowski, and the Cannons turn the ball over again.
Witkowski would have had to be significantly taller, I think, to be able to reel in that pass. Copeland.
2 more points to Lanard Copeland. He's running hot. He now has 13 points in this first quarter.
Well, the Tigers really on a roll at the moment, too. They've blasted in 8 unanswered points, and they now have a 10-point lead.
Pass inside to Reese. Foul is called. And it's another offensive foul, this time against 0-0 for the Cannons, Jason Reese.
Jason Reese turned around. We'll see it on replay here. Armfield looking to get the ball in, calling the play. In fact, he's running backwards down the floor. That's an interesting replay. I didn't know he could do that. The machine goes the other way. Yeah, that was interesting. But the foul there, Ray Gordon standing underneath the basket, and Reese did a good job to reel in the ball. It was a tough pass to catch in the first place. He turned blindly with his elbows out and just swished across the face of Ray Gordon, who hit the deck fairly hard.
And that's the 3rd foul to Jason Reese so far tonight, and that's a worrying start for Coach Barry Barnes.
Very worrying start with 32 seconds remaining to play in the first quarter. I see the referee, Ian Watts. I'm not sure what explanation he is giving, but obviously it was to some question, and he's talking also to the Tiger bench.
The Tigers going well in this first period. They lead by 10, 28-18. Purchase in for time for the Tigers, number 12, to Gordon. Good pass inside to Dave Simmons. 2 more points for the Tigers. And they're out by 12 now. 30-18, 6 seconds left. One last chance for the Cannons for a shot. And it's a big three-pointer from Lachlan Armfield. That was good points under pressure. And that's quarter time. And it's the Melbourne Tigers in front by 9 points, 30-21, here at the National Tennis Centre, Flinders Park. Back here at Flinders Park, it's the Tigers in front by 9 points after the first quarter, 30-21. A magnificent start in front of their new home crowd.
I figured out that the scoreboards here are placed in difficult situation for the bench to see, and that was what the question that Coach Barry Barnes had. And when it gets under a minute, it goes into seconds and tenths of seconds, and so the scoreboard looked pretty funny when you see it, and that's now been explained.
They'll wait for TV.
It was a very good first quarter for the Tigers. Both teams, I thought, started very slowly, tried very, very hard, perhaps too hard, and I think the Tigers settled into their task a little bit more quickly.
I guess Jason Reese would be a worry for Barry Barnes. 3 fouls, and he's a key player for them.
Well, that's right. That's half your quota, 6 and you're out, and that would be very much a worry for them. He's shown a lot of confidence in going to the youngsters, Armfield and Witkowski. But the Tigers as well haven't been shy about using their substitutes, as we see Purchase is coming off the bench and Lanard, but they are experienced NBL campaigners.
25 for Melbourne is Dave Simmons. Top scorer so far in the match. Lanard Copeland has 10. I beg your pardon, he has 13 for the Tigers. Dave Simmons 10. Reese has 8 for the Canberra Cannons. Foul is called.
Dave Simmons picking up that foul, and that's his 3rd. So he's in equal trouble to Jason Reese. They're both staying out there. That's got to be a worry to both coaches. To Dean Templeton on the sidelines.
Yes, Bill, I listened in on Barry Barnes' talk there. He's absolutely irate with his players for throwing the ball away, especially Simon Cottrell. He wants them to run the ball at every opportunity.
It's interesting, Barry Barnes coached Simon Cottrell for a while. The old Nunawading Inspector team was frequently frustrated with him there too. Reese continues his good work around the basket and now becomes the first cannon into double figures. He's got 10. And the Tigers have 2. Copeland has 13. Simmons has 10.
Speaking of Simmons, he has the ball for Melbourne. Pass to number 7, Steve Lanard, but it's turned over. And away comes Phil Smythe for Canberra.
Stelzer did a good job of getting that ball out of... Jamie Kennedy hits a 3. And that was a good shot by Kennedy, the second 3-pointer in the game, outside that 3-point arc. And we see the Tigers make a turnover, this time in the form of Nigel Purchase, who pushed off Jamie Kennedy to get him away, using his hands like that. The referee spied it, so the penalty is a foul against Purchase and a loss of possession.
Purchase claiming there that there's a bit of staging going on, but the referee thought otherwise.
It isn't the first time it happened. It did look like there was a bit of contact there. Players have been known to fall down with not much impetus behind the contact. Stelzer ties a 3. So the Cannons catching up behind that 3-point range.
Just 1 point the difference now after trailing by 9. At quarter time, 30-29 the score. And the Canberra Cannons have reeled off 8 straight points. Simmons for 2, but a foul is called
on Simmons.
Again.
And Stelzer spills to the floor. So the defense really playing position in this game. Seen a lot of offensive fouls. There's Stelzer, established his position prior to Simmons leaving the ground. If he had established that position after Simmons left the ground, the foul would have been on him. But he got there first, and Simmons now with 4.
So some foul trouble for Dave Simmons, and he has been rested by Coach Lindsay Gaze, and probably wisely so with so much time left in this match.
Interesting from a coaching strategy point of view. Does he rest him through the rest of this second quarter, or does he risk him bringing back in? And coaches are faced with that sort of split, difficult decision. And it wouldn't be surprising if Simmons didn't get back on the court, because now he only has 2 fouls to play out the rest of the game with.
30-29. The Tigers in front. 10 minutes to go left. 10 minutes left in this second period. Lanard with the ball off to Copeland for the Melbourne Tigers. 33 is Whitehead, and a foul is called on the Canberra Cannons.
Let's check it out. It's on Jamie Kennedy. I think Jason Reese looked a little bit guilty there for a while. That could have been his 4th, but Kennedy now moves up to 3 fouls. A lot of fouls in this game. A lot of tension out there in the opener for the season.
Stephen Whitehead has 2 points so far in the match. 20-year-old, played with the Australian youth teams, played 59 games, and there's some high hopes for him this season. Plenty of experience for a young man.
I think this year with Copeland and Gaze, Whitehead will get a lot more time in the guard position with the ball handling ability. And that score counts as it drifted around the ring. Hood was fouled in the act of shooting by Nigel Purchase. The ball thought about coming out, but eventually ducked back in to slither there through the net. So the 2 points count, and because he was fouled in the act of shooting, he gets a bonus foul shot, which will count 1 point if it goes in.
And Steve Hood now into double figures for the Cannons. He has 10, along with Jason Reese.
What a charge, the way the Cannons just ate up this lead. 9 minutes and 40 seconds remaining to play. unbelievably quick reply by the Cannons.
They now lead by 1, 32-31. Whitehead to the pass to Robert Sibley, and eventually it decides to pop in, and the Tigers back in front by 1. Robert Sibley now has 3 points for the match.
Brand new rings, brand new backboard. Everything's a little bit stiff, and the shooters like loose rings. Great lob pass. That is a pass that drifted over the defense, put in by Smythe, and Hood scores.
Steve Hood starting to find his range now after a quiet start.
Defense
Whitehead
lost sight again of the ball and the man. Smythe, good hands, tries to knock it out but doesn't get it. And the Tigers control. Copeland attempts a 3 and swishes it.
Lanard Copeland, 16 points. And it's the Tigers back in front, 36-34. And a foul is called.
Well, it's interesting. In the first quarter, we really didn't see very good outside shooting. But this second quarter has started in a blaze of shots from the perimeter.
Steve Hood misses on that occasion. Copeland away with the ball for the Tigers. Steadies things down. Tigers in front by 2. Purchase to Lanard. Lanard drives to the basket, and a nice 2-pointer from Steve Lanard, and he's on the scoreboard tonight. His first points. Phil Smythe up the other end, and also a nice drive, and Smythe gets 2 points, 38-36.
Smythe's first 2 points in the game, and the Cannons do a lot of times depend on how Smythe goes offensively. Copeland with a quick reply. So the Tigers, who were on the ropes just temporarily with an early surge in the second quarter from the Cannons, seem to have recovered their temperament out there and now are attacking the basket with great gusto.
Lanard Copeland, 18 points so far. Nice defensive work there from Lanard, and the Tigers come away with the ball. Stephen Whitehead.
Turnovers killing the Cannons at the moment. That is possession of the ball and losing it before a shot. Copeland misses a 3. Sibley and Stelzer spill on the floor in the contest. Hood passes to Kennedy, who can't control it. Copeland just manages to tap it back in. So a brief comedy of errors there. The Tigers back in control.
Copeland to Lanard. Number 12 is Nigel Purchase. Pass inside to Sibley. And Sibley gets the 2 points, and a foul is called, and he'll go to the line for an extra shot. Nice move, Robert Sibley.
A classic power move around the basket. Fake to the inside, kept the pivot foot on the ground. Obviously, you can't take steps once you pick up the ball. And Stelzer started leaning over the top of him with his arms over the top like an umbrella. And as soon as contact's made in that situation, the foul's going to be on the defensive player. You're entitled to the room right above your head, but you can't impinge on the room over somebody else's head.
So after momentarily losing the lead to the Cannons, the Tigers steady the ship and are back in front by 7, 43-36.
Boy, Reece surges.
Warwick Giddy with the rebound for Melbourne. Off to Whitehead.
Amazing. Already in this quarter, the Tigers started leading by 9, then we're down by 1, and now we're up by 9 again as Sibley gets a 2-pointer.
Robert Sibley now playing a major part in this game. Timeout is called by Phil Smythe and the Canberra Cannons, and it's the Tigers in front by 9, 45-36.
Good drive to Phil Smythe to the basket. What a surge this quarter has seen in about 5 minutes. Tigers started 9 points up, lost all 9 of those points to trail by 1, and now they're 9 points up again, all in 5 minutes. What activity.
Canberra Cannons with the ball. Number 11, John Stelzer, gives it off to Steve Hood. Hood double team. Jason Reese for 2 points. And a charging foul is called, and he is not happy, and neither is Barry Barnes, who's off the bench.
0 charge.
That's his 4th foul. That's what Barry Barnes is unhappy about. Steve Lanard held his ground. And what happened was Reese was leaning in, according to the referees, at shot and continued to leave in and fell on top of the defensive player. And Coach Barry Barnes letting referee Ray Hunt know that he thought that was a very tough call.
Of course, the coaches have to be careful this year. There's been an instruction that they must behave themselves and not abuse unnecessarily the referees. And I think Barry might have just got a warning there.
Just making his point.
Tigers with the ball. Whitehead, number 33.
Now that buzzer we heard in the background is a 10-second warning buzzer as Whitehead wheels around the defense to score. Teams, once they get possession of the ball, have 30 seconds to shoot. And when that clock runs down to 10 seconds, there's a warning buzzer. If they don't get the shot off in 30 seconds, they lose possession of the ball. Let's look at the field shots there. The Tigers shooting an excellent 62%. Anything over 50% becomes very good shooting from the field. And the Cannons 48%. Not bad, but in light of what the Tigers have, it's ordinary. And now we see a technical foul called on the Cannons bench.
Barry Barnes.
And Barry Barnes continued perhaps with his argument. And so a technical foul, a real penalty, will get 2 foul shots, and the Tigers will keep possession of the ball. So it really is a severe penalty. They had the possession of the ball. They lost it. Whitehead or any nominated player gets 2 foul shots, each counting a point, and the Tigers get possession of the ball. So potentially a 6-point swing in the game.
And the lead now blows out to 13 as the steam continues to come out of Barry Barnes' ears. 49-36, and the Tigers have possession.
Well, I bet the steam will continue to come out of his ears, but I bet the words don't come out of his mouth anymore because obviously a severe penalty, and the referee is determined that he's not going to take too much chatter from the sideline.
As I said earlier, instructions this year to clean the game up in some respects, to stop players and coaches unnecessarily abusing the referees, and a technical foul will be called if they continue. Sibley, good rebound for the Tigers, off to Lanard Copeland.
That's what kills the team defensively, when you allow a team to shoot and you don't get the rebound and you give them a second chance to shoot. The Tigers are shooting 62%, so statistically, if they miss and get the ball back, the next shot's going to go in. Of course, it doesn't always work that way, but that's what the statistics tell you.
Steve Whitehead can't make the basket.
Well, this is worse. Now they get a 3rd shot, and this time they did score. That was inevitable.
Well, this is a blowout at the moment. 36-51. The score now with the Melbourne Tigers well in control of this match. Long way to go, though. 4:57 remaining in this second period. Lachlan Armfield is number 7 for Canberra. Gives it off to Steve Hood. Hood, clever pass inside to Cottrell. Gets the 2 points, and a foul is called on Lanard Copeland.
Cottrell now with his 4th point in the game, fouled in the act of shooting. And it was a good series of passes from the Cannons to get the ball free to Cottrell. On the sidelines, Dean Templeton.
Yes, it's interesting to note that Barry Barnes has taken Phil Smythe out of the game. Phil seems to be okay, so Jamie Kennedy's come in for the Cannons. Smythe started well this quarter, but the Cannons are falling away, so I think Kennedy's going out there to shoot some 3-pointers.
I think you're right, Dean. I think that they need to get some offense going out here. They don't seem to be able to slow the Tigers down that much defensively, so they're going to have to start matching them in the firepower department.
Lanard Copeland misses that attempt, and it's a Canberra ball. Of course, the Melbourne Tigers last year, the only team to score over 100 points in every match, and they're certainly on board to do that tonight, even without Andrew Gaze.
That's right. When you figure that last year Andrew Gaze averaged 38 points per game, this group out here is doing very, very well.
Surprising many. Cannons with the ball. Steve Hood with the ball, number 44. Drives to the basket. Nice move. And a foul is called.
Let's see if this might be on Copeland. It is on Copeland. Look at the turnover difference. This is the number of times the team has gotten the ball, but then lost it without being able to get a shot through, either their own mistakes or the defense stealing the ball from them. And so that represents right from the start about 8 more shots that the Cannons have got. Now, Hood was fouled driving to the basket, you saw in replay, by Copeland, and gets 2 foul shots as he started his shot when the contact was made. Copeland now has 3 fouls, so the foul count, a couple players in trouble in foul count. We've seen Simmons from the Tigers sitting on the bench most of this quarter, having picked up 4, and now they're gun forward. Lanard Copeland's picked up his 3rd.
Tigers in front by 11 with 4 minutes remaining in the second period. Copeland with the ball for 3 points. Swish! Lanard Copeland, and he is now into the 20s. He has 21 points, shooting at 56%, which means he's had 16 attempts and 9 of them have found the net. And another turnover by the Cannons.
Good defense that time, Steve, by Lanard Copeland, who anticipated the pass, jumped out in front of Lachlan Armfield and got a piece of the ball, which Armfield then couldn't control, and it went out of bounds. So the Tigers dominating at the moment at both ends as we see the defense in a zone. That is, they're guarding positions on the floor rather than specific players.
Steve Hood. Nice move by Steve Hood. 2 more points for the American import.
He's now got 15 and is the leading scorer for the Tigers, for the Cannons. Reese with 10. Sitting on the bench at the moment is the second leading scorer.
Whitehead, long pass to Copeland, almost intercepted by Hood. Copeland comes back with the ball. And a turnover from the Tigers.
We might explain substitutions. You're allowed to freely substitute the 5 players on the floor, providing no player comes into the game with 6 fouls. You aren't allowed to do that. And so you do see a lot of changes, and that's a part of the strategy of being a basketball coach, knowing when to put in a player and when to take him out, and who to put in that player's place. You can really change the look of your team quite dramatically by a couple of substitutions.
Of course, you're only allowed 5 players on the court at any one time as Phil Smythe hits a 3-pointer for the Canberra Cannons.
That's what they want from Smythe, some offense, particularly from the perimeter area. And if he can hit a few more threes, that'll open it up inside a lot better for Hood and Stelzer and Cottrell at the moment, who are on the court at the moment, the big players for the Cannons.
Lanard Copeland. Another nice move from Lanard Copeland.
Boy, he is burning.
23 points for Lanard Copeland. And 11 points in front, the Melbourne Tigers. He is really making his presence felt here tonight in his first NBL game. Former champion player with the Philly.
That was from the bleachers, that 3-pointer that Kennedy shot. He was a good 2 steps outside the 3-point arc. That ball probably traveled about 25 feet to hit that little teeny dot up in the sky of the basket. That was a great shot from J.B. Kennedy, his second 3-pointer for the game, and that accounts for his 6-point total.
They've made 11 attempts at 3-pointers and have hit 5 of them, the Canberra Cannons. And Melbourne Tigers 3 from 5 attempts. Stephen Whitehead with the ball. Gives it off to Sibley. Sibley for 2 points. Warren. Robert Sibley now has 12. 58-48 to score. Steve Hood drives to the basket. Gets the 2 points and is fouled, so he shall go to the line for another shot.
Score. 7-1.
Fouls on Steve Lanarden, and Hood is really showing a great capability of continuing his shot after being fouled and scoring. We've got a timeout here from Flinders Park. 1 minute and 27 seconds remaining to play in the second quarter, and the Tigers lead the Cannons 58-50.
Here at Flinders Park, the National Tennis Centre, and it's the Melbourne Tigers in front, 58-50, with 1 minute and 27 seconds remaining in this second period. Steve Hood at the line for Canberra with an extra foul shot. Foul while in the act of shooting, got the 2 points, and cleans up for another one. He now has 18 points so far in the match, Steve Hood.
You see the Cannons again extending their defense over the full length of the court rather than just waiting for the team to advance the ball over the half-court line. They may not get the steal, but they delay the motion of the Tigers into their offense. They're only starting their offensive pattern now, and that took them about 17 seconds, and there's the 10-second warning hooter. And they have to get that shot up now in 5 seconds. Whitehead to the foul line, misses it. A battle in there, and Cottrell muscle and gets it out. Determination came off the foot of Warwick Giddy. So Cottrell, battling 3 Tigers, didn't have much help from his Cannon teammates. Was wondering where the life raft was, probably, but ended up muscling that ball out of it. That was good hard work by Simon Cottrell. Hood forces that one up into the teeth of the defense. And a foul's picked out on John Stelzer, who tried to get the rebound and just spilled into a Tiger player. And for Stelzer, that's his third.
58 seconds remaining in this second period. Tigers with possession. They lead by 7, 58 to 51.
I'll have to amend that. That foul was called on Cottrell. We're sitting away back from the court, and it's hard sometimes to pick up the signals of the referees. So Whitehead, Stelzer, you saved your third foul. You're back to 2.
Clock down the bottom, you know that, Barry? Clock down the bottom.
Tigers away. Number 8 is Ray Gordon. Gives it off to Sibley.
See the zone defense by the Cannons, guarding positions on the floor, not specific men. Kennedy and Smythe at the top. Gordon tries over the top of the zone, doesn't get it. Whitehead, good work inside. Very clever shot to avoid the outstretched hand to Simon Cottrell.
Steve put up the other end, gets the pass out to Jamie Kennedy, fakes the 3, now for 2 points. Jamie Kennedy, 2 points, Canberra Cannons, 17 seconds left in this second period. Tigers in front by 7. They'll have one more opportunity to score in this quarter. Giddy with the ball. Gives the pass off, luckily into the hands of Whitehead. Whitehead misses the first attempt and the second, but he is fouled and shall go to the line as he was fouled in the act of shooting.
Pretty heavy contact that time on John Stelzer, who was spilled under the court. The referees determined that Stelzer was just standing under the ring, not in front of the ring, not trying to block progress. And consequently, we end up seeing, we see Cottrell picking up the foul and Stelzer sitting ruefully on the ground, wondering where the foul was on against him. But the referee saw it and determined that he wasn't trying to block progress of Lanard into the basket.
Steve Lanard, this is his first attempt from the free throw line. He has 2 points and make that 3. Tigers leading by 8. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. The pass is wayward, and that Ray Gordon from a long way out can't make the shot. The clock seemed to get stuck there on 1 second for a minute.
They're looking around. Where are we? Who are we? The shot ended up being 10 feet short anyway.
So at half-time here at Flinders Park, the National Tennis Centre, it's the Melbourne Tigers in front, 61 to 53. Let's now go down to the floor. Dean Templeton is speaking with the captain of the Canberra Cannons, Phil Smythe.
Phil, 8 points down at the half. What has to be done in the second half to get you back in?
Well, I think we have to be a bit more confident offensively. We seem to be a bit tentative, and we're playing more Melbourne's game than our game. Perhaps we just got the cobwebs out of us. Second half will be a lot better for us.
Pretty aggressive game, plenty of contact out there. What about, what do you think of that?
Well, I think, yeah, that's the way it's going to be this year. There seems to be some problems with these JUCOs. They're fairly slippery. Our guys are a bit tentative. We've got to block that out of our mind and start playing.
Smythe, good luck in the second half.
Good idea, Dan. Thanks, mate.
Steve, back to you, mate.
Thanks, Dean Templeton, talking with the captain of the Canberra Cannons, Phil Smythe, here at the Tennis Centre. It's the Tigers in front by 8 points, 61 to 53. As the Tony Bartuccio dancers strut their stuff at half-time, and they certainly are very entertaining. We'll take a break. Back with more in a moment. Home at the Melbourne Tigers, Flinders Park, the National Tennis Centre, and it is Melbourne in front by 8 points, 61 to 53, and a very, very good first half of basketball, particularly by the Melbourne Tigers. Not a bad crowd for the opening night. Of course, tomorrow night we see the new boys on the block, the South East Melbourne Magic, making their debut in season 92, playing Illawarra Hawks, and you see the half-time statistics, 61 to 53 the score. The field percentage pretty even, Bill.
Yes, but Melbourne came back to the to reality a little bit. They shot 62%. Still excellent shooting by both sides, and you'd have to say, you look right down the column, that last column there, turnovers, is the difference in this game. 7 times Melbourne has got the ball and lost it without a shot, but that's been doubled by the Cannons. So effectively with rebounds even, you would say that the Tigers have got 7 more shots than have the Cannons, and that's a very crucial statistic at halftime.
Rebounds pretty even also, 15 to 14. Let's go to courtside and Dean Templeton.
Yes, Steve. Well, down here at the court, it's so noisy, this new stadium. It's a fantastic atmosphere down here, and I think it's going to be a great thing for basketball playing here. Of course, tonight's game, Tigers in front. Both coaches will be concerned with their big man David Simmons for the Tigers with 4 fouls, Jason Reese for the Cannons with 4 fouls. We'll see how those two go in this second half. But a great game, terrific atmosphere down here, and I'm looking forward to this second half.
Certainly, yes, it is amazing the amount of noise created at this stadium. As I said, it's nowhere near capacity tonight. One wonders, you know, if we get 12 or 13,000, the roof I think will be blown off.
Well, they can open it here, of course, so they may have to do that to let some noise out. At halftime, we have up at the Gold Coast Carrara Stadium, game being played coincidentally to this game. Gold Coast Rollers lead the Newcastle Falcons 58-51, and that's a good game there. Both these teams, the Rollers, of course, winning the Kmart Classic, and the Falcons, really the gun team, one of the teams that finished low last year that is expected to improve a lot this year. So that's an interesting game.
Of course, the Falcons have got new logos, new jumpers, new administration, new stadium. I mean, everything's
new religion. Yeah, they do, and they're doing a great job up there, the Falcons, and they carry the hopes, of course, of the Steel City with them.
Got an import called Everett Stevens, who we're looking forward to seeing this season as we're underway in the third period. And Lanard Copeland does well to keep the ball in play, but it's Canberra Cannons' possession. Tigers in front by 8 at half-time. Pass inside to Reese, misses the 2-pointer. Good rebound, Dave Simmons. He's away for the Tigers, off to Lanard Copeland.
Well, credit Sibley with the help there. He came from behind Reese and got a finger on that shot and knocked it out of its accuracy range. Simmons this time over the top. And it's a third shot. Simmons has just sort of leaned in and arched it over the defense. Not looking terribly balanced, but being very accurate.
Dave Simmons, who spent most of the second period sitting on the bench because of foul trouble, has 12 points in the game so far. Number 11 for Canberra is John Stelzer. Gives it off to Steve Hood, number 44. He's double-teamed, and it's effective. Lanard Copeland steals the ball and jams it. Oh, Lanard Copeland, 25 points, and the Tigers go further in front.
And another turnover to the Cannons, so they really are beating themselves at the moment. That was good defense by Melbourne. They risked 2 players guarding the ball. Somebody had to be open for the Cannons, but they couldn't find the man, and it ended up with that dunk shot from Hood.
Steve Hood, 2 points. He has 20 in the match so far, the top scorer for the Canberra Cannons. Reese has 10. Sibley outside to Copeland. Gives it off to Whitehead.
Cannons lucky to get away with that because there was some confusion. Steve Hood, I think, thought that they were playing that man-to-man defense, when in fact the other 4 players were playing a zone. So the Tigers missed an opportunity that time to capitalize on a bit of defensive confusion by the Cannons.
Phil Smythe, number 6, one of the veterans in NBL basketball, one of the great champions. 4 is Jamie Kennedy for a 3-point attempt and sticks it. Jamie Kennedy is good from that range.
Third 3-pointer, and 2 of them have been a good stride and a half outside the 3-point arc. We see the Tigers now returning the compliment with a really unforced error that time. Hood working on the defense, drifts in, off balance, knocked to the floor, nothing called, but the Cannons will get it back. Hood drifted in through the defense, who was the defense through 3 players. They were all stationary. He lost his balance as he went in and crashed to the floor, and the Cannons, though, got it back.
Tigers lead by 7, 9:46 remaining in this third period. Phil Smythe with the ball. Gives it off to Hood. Hood drives down the middle of the lane, and a foul is called.
That'll be on Robert Sibley. Hood really looks to penetrate almost every time he gets the ball. He's looking to put the ball on the floor, dribble, and attack the basket. You see him that time. He wheels by Giddy, and Sibley comes in to help out, but arrives much too late, and all they can do is hit Hood from the side. Again, Hood fouled in the act of shooting. We've seen a lot of that from him tonight, and he gets 2 foul shots because his shot missed.
Steve Hood, 21 points so far in this game. 24 years old tomorrow he is, so let's hope he can celebrate with a win tonight, but they've got a bit of work to do before he can do that.
Well, they've done a good job because Melbourne has dominated the greater portion of this game, but Canberra is only 6 points in arrears, so they wouldn't be displeased with that, because I don't think that Coach Barry Barnes would say that his team has played in sync this game. Hood picks up that foul as Copeland goes up for the jump shot.
44 blue.
And for Steve Hood, that's his second foul. So he's not in the danger zone yet. He's got 4 more fouls before he has to end his participation in the game. But to the line, Lanard Copeland. And Copeland already has 25 points and has a chance with 2 foul shots here to make it 27. Boy, those rings are stiff, Steve. You can hear them. It's like hitting concrete blocks up there. And you really have to have good touch. It's admirable as we can hear that banging around again. It's amazing that both these teams are shooting above 50%.
Reese for 2 points and gets it. As I saw Lindsay Gaze before the match started, he went up and measured the rings, and they were 1 centimetre too high. So he said, boys, come out and reset them, please. They're too high.
Well, the good shooters can tell you, they go to the foul line and they'll say, hey, that's a centimetre off. That's how accurate some of the shooters are. Lindsay Gay's been shooting baskets a long time and still does. And we see again those rings toss out what should have been an easy score. Smythe penetrates, kicks it out. Kennedy, that's a 3-point attempt, but it misses. And those rings throw the ball up, and they hit the 3-point clock at the top of the ring, and that's an automatic out of bounds.
Some good BHP steel. Coming into the 4 there.
Well, it's funny how little things like that can change. You get hard rings, soft rings, and it really does take some adjustments from the shooters. And the rebounds tend to come out different distances. And it's very important that you study when a shot's missed how far the rebounds tend to come out, because that's the position that you want to get on the floor, is the high percentage position where the ball's going to rebound to.
Dave Simmons, clever pass to Giddy, who gives it off to Sibley, but Sibley can't make the 2 points. And the Canberra Cannons back into attack. They trail by 5. Kennedy to Smythe, number 6. To Steve Hood. Hood drives to the basket, gives it back outside, but the Canberra Cannons turn the ball over again. 2-on-1 here. Whitehead goes all the way, and an easy 2 points for Steve Whitehead. And another turnover from the Cannons costs them dearly.
11 points now to Whitehead. He joins Simmons on 12, Sibley on 12, and Copeland on 26 as the players in the Tiger lineup that have scored into double figures. Got a brief timeout here. The Tigers again just getting a marginal ascendancy in the game, but the Cannons keeping it close. At the end of the quarter time, if they're within a single digit deficit, that's certainly gettable in the last quarter. So there's no doubt that Melbourne, when they get their momentum going, will want to pile it on and really try and get that lead well up over 12, 14 points.
Yes, they really have struggled a little bit in certain areas, the Cans, but as you said, I mean, they're still well in control, and I guess that is some pleasing aspect for Barry Barnes, isn't it?
Let's go down to the sidelines and see to Dean Templeton and see if he can tell us what the holdup is.
Yes, Bill, well, they're having trouble with the 30-second clock. Of course, the team that gets the ball in offense has 30 seconds to take a shot. 10 seconds to go, that buzzer goes.
They are having trouble because one says 60 seconds, the other one says 54 seconds. So I'd say there's some major league trouble there if it's a 30-second clock.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can help them out or not, but it's a bit too complicated for me.
Go press some buttons, Dean.
Yes.
Of course, we had all sorts of problems last year at the Glass House with the 30-second clock at some stage, didn't we?
That's right. Well, that clock above the ring, above the backboard, counts down from the time the team gets the ball. It starts at 30, and it counts down the 30 seconds to the time the team shoots the ball or loses control of the ball and the other team gains control. So from the time you get the ball, you got 30 seconds to get a shot up. If you don't, you lose the ball.
Of course, the buzzer, the little buzzer you hear goes at the 10-second mark, and you've got...
Well, they press the reset button, and it's now reading 30 seconds at both ends. Last year's results, 1991, Melbourne had 2 wins over the Cannons, a team they'd only beaten once previously in the whole NBL history, 118, and they won by 1 point and 2 points.
So not much separated those sides last year, and again tonight, things pretty tight, even though the Tigers looking the better side at the moment. Still a long way to go. Number 11 is John Stelzer. Gives the pass off to Reese inside, and Reese misses the 2-pointer. Rebound, Warwick Giddy, and the Tigers are away.
I think both teams might have heard our talk about how stiff the rings are and saw the backboards because they haven't shot nearly as well, and the ball seems to be just flipping out every time. Giddy tries to force his way in, and the ball's stolen easily by the Cannons.
Reese away to Smythe. Smythe for 3 points. and sticks it. Phil Smythe now has 8 points this evening. And a timeout has been called here at the Tennis Centre, and it's Melbourne in front by 4, 68-64. We see Phil Smythe here scoring a big three-pointer, and that takes him over the 4,000 points mark in his NBL career, and that is an outstanding effort. He's played more than 300 games for the Boomers and 253 NBL games, and he certainly is a great champion. To score 4,000 points, that's a lot of baskets, isn't it?
Certainly is, and the true value of the man is hidden by those statistics, because he does so many other things besides score points as well. The Tigers with another turnover. The second time they tried to force the ball inside. Who'll win this race? Had the angle on Copeland the whole way, and the Cannons looking very dangerous at the moment as they've crept back to be within 2 of the Tigers.
7 minutes remaining in this third period. Copeland with the ball for Melbourne. Foul is called, and it's against Canberra, and I think it's number 11. I thought it was against Reese, but it's against number 11, John Stelzer.
I think Reese thought for a second there too. He said, oh no, that might be against me, but he had done all right. He was just standing up straight with his arm straight above his head, but Stelzer was crimping in from the side.
It's their second team foul this quarter, and Jason Reese and Stelzer both have 4 fouls against their name. Kennedy and Cottrell 3 apiece, while for the Tigers, Simmons has 4 fouls against his name, and Lanard Copeland, who has the ball at the moment, he has 3 fouls. Also has 27 points. Former NBA player with the Philadelphia 76ers and the Los Angeles Clippers, Lanard Copeland. 28 for the night, Tigers in front by 4.
Been very consistent too. 10 points in the first, 13 points in the first quarter, 10 points in the second quarter, and he's got 5 points in this quarter with over half of that quarter to go.
Steve Hood, number 44. Misses the 2-pointer, slapped away by number 11, Stelzer, but it's a Melbourne Tigers ball from the side. Whitehead, number 33, has the ball for Melbourne. They lead by 4. Almost loses control of the ball, manages to keep it. Simmons drives all the way, misses the 2 points, slapped out to Phil Smythe, looking for some support. Gives it off to Kennedy. Almost messed that one up, but Cannon's still in control through Smythe. He's being double-teamed by Simmons and Copeland. Gets the pass off to Hood. Hood in touch to Reese. A Reese clever pass to Stelzer. Foul is called.
Foul's on Sibley. A good ball movement. They nearly trapped Smythe at half court. He got out. I didn't think the Cannons were real quick to recognize where the open man was, but eventually found Reese, and he dumped it inside, as we see in that perfect angle on the replay. He was going up to shoot, and at the last minute spotted Stelzer in a better position right underneath the basket, dished it off to him, and Stelzer was fouled by Sibley as he was attempting that shot. Missed it, so he gets 2 foul shots.
John Stelzer's 23 years old, had a rather disappointing year last year, so he's looking forward to make amends in 1992.
That's right. His career average was nearly 9 points a game, and he only averaged about 6 points a game last year. And he's long been recognized as a player with a lot of potential, but now at this stage of the career, it's time that he really starts realizing that potential.
Lanard Copeland for 3 points. Won't make it stick this time. Giddy comes up with the ball for Melbourne. Gives it off to Whitehead. Back to Giddy.
You can see that zone formation. You got Kennedy and Smythe at the top. They're just guarding that top area. And the 3 big Cannon players underneath as Giddy monsters Reese from behind. And tried to get the ball, but got a healthy proportion of Reese's body. Dean Templeton on the sideline.
Yes, Bill, it's interesting to note that Coach Barry Barnes took Steve Hood out, and I don't think Steve's too impressed with it. I think basically Barry took him out because he might have been taking too many shots. Also, the Cannons have got 3 small guards on the court at the moment, maybe looking to press up a little bit in defence.
Smythe. Number 6 for Canberra. Gives it off to number 7, Lachlan Armfield. Out to Stelzer. 2 points for John Stelzer. 70-68. Tigers lead by 2. 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Foul is called here on number 11, John Stelzer.
11 blue for a hold, yeah.
Stelzer's called for a foul well away from the ball. He was just guarding a player that was moving in position to receive a pass. held him and picked up his 5th foul. So he is well and truly into that red zone. One more foul, and that's it for the evening for John Stelzer. And in fact, we see him being subbed off. And into the game,
Matt Zorner, playing his first game, 19 years of age, and he certainly is a very big boy for 19.
204 centimeters. That's about, I think, about 6'9" in the old language.
Hope he's still not growing as we see Robert Sibley chip in for 2 points.
Well, you might hope that. I bet Barry Barnes is hoping he's still going. Smythe starting to take command out there, the general, Phil Smythe.
72-70, Tigers in front. You can just sense things starting to wind up a bit now in this game. Sibley out to Copeland, pass inside to Dave Simmons, gives it back to Sibley. Again, it seemingly looks set for a 2-pointer, but it just came out of the basket. Good steal by Dave Simmons, who managed to get it to Gordon. Gordon to Whitehead, and Whitehead gets the 2 points. That's good play by Dave Simmons to create that opportunity for the Tigers.
And at a very important time for the Tigers, because Canberra coming down the court could have tied up the game with a 2-pointer, possibly gone ahead with a 3-pointer. And basically, Melbourne's led this whole game, except for a very brief moment in the second quarter when the Cannons got up by a point. A running jump shot by Kennedy misses, so the Tigers now a chance to work up their 4-point lead.
Robert Sibley, number 52 for the Melbourne Tigers. Drives all the way, gets the 2 points and is fouled, and they'll get the extra shot. Good move, Robert Sibley.
Very strong drive to the basket by Robert Sibley. You see him in your screen, gets around his man, which is Zonner, and is fouled by Kennedy, who tried to help out. Another angle on this, fake to the inside, used the stutter step, breezed around his man with a long finger roll. Kennedy didn't really see what Kennedy did wrong there. He was just sort of standing there. The contact wasn't all that difficult. Referee thought perhaps he moved his feet after Sibley had left the ground, and you can't do that.
Another point for Robert Sibley. He now has 18. Beg your pardon, he has 17. Let's go to Dean Templeton.
Yes, down here, Barry Barnes is pulling out what hair he has left. He is totally frustrated by his team's turning over the ball, giving it back to the opposition before they're getting a shot. He's looked down his bench and he really can't find anyone to put in. I think I might get a game in a minute.
How about your knees? Are they holding up to it?
I don't think so.
As we see Nigel Purchase come into the game for the Tigers, replacing Lanard Copeland, who is having a rest. Copeland with 28 points so far tonight.
You see Lachlan Armfield now shooting his second foul shot. He was fouled by Ray Gordon. And for Armfield now, he has 5 in the game.
And that is the margin. 5 points, Tigers in front. 3:43 left in this third period. 77-72. Dave Simmons with the ball for Melbourne. Misses his 2-point attempt. Good rebound, strong rebound from Jason Reese. Gives it off to Phil Smythe.
Reese doing an excellent job on the defensive boards. That is when Tigers shoot. Reese has 7 times got that rebound. Now we see an offensive rebound by Zorner, and that's his first NBL points for another Virgin rookie. Never been in the NBL game before. He now has 2 points behind his name. What we hope is a long career for him.
Whitehead misses the 3-point attempt. Reese charges away with the ball, gives it off to Kennedy. Kennedy for 2. And the Cannons come back again. They now trail by just 1, 77-76.
Well, they don't know how to lie down. We've seen the Tigers about 3 times in this game, apparently in total control, breezing ahead, and each time the Cannons have pegged them back.
Now it's Lindsay Gaze's turn to get up off the bench and start yelling, as we'll see Nigel Purchase rack up his first points for the game.
Good give and go play. We see Phil Smythe there calling the play. And Lindsay Gaze on the sideline directing defensive traffic, telling his men basketball, and it worked that time, or it nearly worked. It does work. Whatever he instructed, the loose ball comes up to the Tigers, and we'll see a foul here called. We'll wait for it.
8 red charge.
Foul's on number 8, an offensive foul called on Ray Gordon. Lost control a little bit, spilled into the defensive player. You see the loose ball at the other end that led to the foul. There's the fast break. That's Gordon there. Gets rid of the ball, but as you can see, after he got rid of the ball, rammed right into Lachlan Armfield, who had been standing there for a good couple of seconds. Okay. And you can't do that because the defensive player is entitled to his position on the floor.
Substitution for the Cannons. Smythe goes off for a rest. Steve Hood back into the game. And he has the ball now for Canberra. Number 44. Foul is called.
Got a handle over him,
and it's against
Nigel Purchase.
Number 12.
Gone 12.
They don't like it in the crowd.
Well, both teams now, the Tigers in the penalty situation. That's the 16th foul on him in the quarter. When you get over 4, in those fouls, it's not a shooting foul, but when you get over 4 team fouls, you get into what's called the 1-on-1 situation, which we saw in the first quarter. Steve Hood now, if he makes this one, he gets the second, which he does.
24 to Steve Hood.
So there's penalties. When you foul too much, obviously there needs to be penalties so that you just every time the player touches the ball, you don't foul him. So there's dual penalties. One's penalty on a team, and the other one's a penalty on a player. Of course, if he gets too many, he has to leave.
Ball is knocked over the line, and Melbourne Tigers have possession.
Hard to believe. 2 points the difference. The Cannons just stick in there. They have their play hasn't been synchronized at all, but they're hanging in there close. But the Tigers get some breathing room with that 2 from David Simmons.
4 points the difference. 1 minute 50 left in this third period, rather. Zorda misses his 2-point attempt. Sibley comes over the ball, gives it off to Steve Whitehead.
Sibley's had a very good game in rebounding categories, 4 at the defensive end and 5 at the offensive end. And that's him with the ball now, dishing it out to Simmons. Whitehead looks at the 3, but decides to go inside, and the 2 points count.
Go count, 33.
Fouls on 33, which is Zorner. And we'll see it there. There's the fake, and got him from behind. The fake, Whitehead beat him comprehensively on the fake, dribbled around him as he pulled up for the jump shot. Zorner got into his body from behind. And so Whitehead, 2 points count and gets the bonus foul shot. That counts, completing a 3-point play.
And all of a sudden, the margin is back out to 7 points again. An incredible game, topsy-turvy game. And the Tigers back in front by 7. 1 minute 15 left on the clock in this third period.
You wonder psychologically what would happen to Melbourne if the Cannons could get in front instead of just surging up to get within 1 or 2 points and then fading away. Reese hits his 14th point in the game.
1 minute left in this third period. Nigel Purchase with the ball for Melbourne. Number 8 is Gordon for 3. Ray Gordon, 3 points, and that's very valuable 3 points just before the three-quarter time. Another substitution. Off goes Zorner. Back on is Matt Witowski, another 19-year-old for the Canberra Cannons. 8 points the difference. Less than a minute remaining. Cannons with the ball. Lachlan Armfield gives it to Kennedy. Back to Armfield. Armfield drives to the basket, misses the 2-point. Another rebound to Robert Sibley. 10 rebounds now so far this evening. And combine that with 17 points. He's having a very good game in his debut for the Tigers. 30 seconds left.
10 seconds between the game clock and the shot clock, so Cannons, technically speaking, should get another shot attempt in this quarter. The 30-second clock has stopped. It shouldn't, but they get it up in time anyway. Whitehead hits a 2. 1 second on the clock. That'll end the quarter.
So, another problem with the shot clock there just before three-quarter time. Didn't worry the Tigers, though. The margin is back out to 10 at three-quarter time. 89 to 79 here at Flinders Park. You see Phil Smythe here racking up a couple of points so far for the evening for him. He has 10 and, of course, scored his 4,000th NBL point in that quarter. At three-quarter time, it's Melbourne in front by 10, 89 to 79. But, Bill, as we've seen so far tonight, it doesn't really account for much because the Cannons have shown they can come back.
No, well, it's certainly not safe. You look at the stats there, 10 points of difference in the score. Shooting percentage, good for both teams. Anything above 50% is good shooting from the field. Free throws, 74 from the Cannons. That's quite good shooting. 65 is pretty ordinary shooting from a team. Rebounds even. Turnover count still remains the difference in this game.
I think we have a delay in the game here. I think the referees are trying to sort out this problem with the shot clock. Busy talking to the scorers.
We have that interesting situation again. 60 seconds at one end and 54 at the other. Let's hear if let's listen into the refs if we can.
Yep. The next available timeout, let us know.
Then it becomes a human, like you just got to be guessing. It's not fair. Is it?
Sorry?
Well, it's all new equipment, been plugged in for the first time today.
No, you can't. They can't fix it. Either we hang around for a couple of hours until they fix it.
I mean, are you going to watch the clock?
No, they're going to go without the 30-second clock. They're going to try and fix it.
Stop.
Let's go down to Dean Templeton on the floor.
Yes, well, they've got big problems with the 30-second clock, and the idea is now that they're going to go without a 30-second clock for the remainder of this quarter, or they're just changing their mind now. It looks like it's going to be handheld, and the buzzer will go at 10 seconds. So there'll be no visual. There'll be no visual clock. It'll be handheld, and with 10 seconds to go, they will manually press the buzzer. So that'll be interesting for this last quarter.
That'll be real tough on the players who are used to obviously being able to look up and see how much time's remaining before they shoot. And the buzzer could well be confusing under those circumstances. They won't be sure what it means, whether it's a timeout or what. We probably should give the players a chance to listen to us what the 30-second or the 10-second warning buzzer sounds like. We'll see how we go. They used to play. They didn't have the 30-second clock, so we'll see how the players adapt to this.
Back to old-time basketball as the Tigers have possession. Nigel Purchase, number 12 for Melbourne. They lead by 10, 89-79. Good pass from Gordon inside to Nigel Purchase. That was a nice move by Melbourne, and the margin blows out to 12.
Came right from their offense, right out of the playbook. That was a well-organized play, run to perfection. Rees forcing it inside. Sibley just umbrella defense over the top of him. He doesn't like the call much, but he's called with that foul as Rees had worked his way inside. And for Sibley, he's picked up his third, and Rees will go to the line. He was fouled in the act of shooting, but gets 2 foul shots.
Jason Rees.
They've done a good job, I think, restraining Jason Rees in this game. Rees last year averaged nearly 30 points a game, and they've held him to 15 with, well, 11 minutes and 34 seconds remaining to play in the game. So the Tiger defense has done a good job restraining his high-scoring tendencies.
Yes, he came to Canberra with a job to do, and that was to score a lot of points, but so far tonight, as Phil said, he's been well held. 11 points the margin. Tigers in front early in this final quarter. Some hard work going on in there.
Very rough inside at the moment. A lot of body banging in there. Simmons and Rees are going at it unbelievably hard. Canberra called with that foul as Whitehead had just levered his way inside. There you see it there. And the blocking foul was called from the side. It wasn't on Phil Smythe who was guarding Whitehead. In fact, it was on Witkowski, who had come in from the side to help out.
Stephen Whitehead misses his first free throw. He has 18 points so far in this game, so he's had a very good game, making the most of Andrew Gay's absence tonight, who is, of course, on the plane as we speak, coming home from Italia.
Whitehead, some of the players forgetting that Whitehead had 2 foul shots, so they contested the rebound. And the referee reminded him, hey, he's got another one to come. Nice try, boys, but Whitehead gets another foul shot.
Phil Smythe gives it off to Steve Hood. The ball is wrestled away by Nigel Purchase, and it's called a clean move to the surprise of some, and the Tigers come away with the ball. Dave Simmons gives it off to Purchase, who effected that steal. To Sibley. Gives it to Simmons. Misses the 2, but gets the rebound. And it's in and gets the foul. Couple of close calls there. Jason Rees ends up on the floor. Yeah. But the Tigers had the laugh because they got the 2 points plus the extra shot.
Foul called on Phil Smythe. So his foul count is climbing a little bit. Smythe now has 3. Not in danger yet. It was a tough play inside. Simmons, I think Reese perhaps overreacted to the contact at Simmons and spilling backwards. Referee decided there was more acting than physical contact, and Simmons was allowed to continue with his move.
Hood to Witowski, number 24 for Canberra. To Jamie Kennedy. He drives to the basket. Won't stick the 2-point shot, and Sibley comes up with the ball for Melbourne.
Really danger time for the Cannons now. The game's slipping away from them. They're 13 points in arrears, with Melbourne a chance to increase that, and it's going to be a hard comeback from now.
Charging foul is called against Robert Sibley. He doesn't like it.
5-2 charge. Wait. Stop.
Oh, Witowski just leapt out into the path of Sibley. Let's see if we can see it here. Anticipated. Now, the contact was in the center of the chest, but I don't know that he was really in the direction that Sibley was moving. Sibley's 4th foul. We've got a timeout with 10 minutes and 13 seconds remaining to play in the game, and the Tigers lead the Cannons 93-80.
Back here at the tennis centre, the Tigers lead by 13. Dean Templeton, listen to Lindsay Gaze at the timeout. What do you have to say, Dean?
Well, Steve, he's concerned about the offense. He said back to basics for the Tigers, so he wanted them to keep it very simple and just work one-on-one against the man-to-man. So he wants the guys to take their man individually. So we'll see how that works.
Foul called on Sibley off the ball. So he's creeping into that danger situation again. Just blocking a player. A player was trying to cut to receive the pass. Pass hadn't been thrown yet, but Sibley was using his arms to impede his progress. And for Sibley now, he goes to 5 fouls, so one more, he's out of there.
Steve Hood with the ball, gives it inside to Reese. A foul is called against the Melbourne Tigers. Reese cops one in the face to go on with. He'll go to the free throw line and make the pain just a little nicer to accept.
Steve Lanard called with that foul, and that's his 2nd foul. So Reese in the act of shooting. The Cannons have got good percentage when they've been able to get the ball inside to Reese. He's been able to really bull his way up, get the shot, and pick up the fouls. The difficulty really has been in the delivery system. He simply hasn't been able to get the ball close to the basket enough. So that's either a compliment to the Tiger defense, or perhaps a criticism of the Cannons offense. I suspect the Tiger defense is really concentrating on Reese and making it very, very difficult to get the ball to him.
Number 33 for the Tigers is Whitehead, has the ball knocked away by Phil Smythe, but Melbourne regains possession from the side. They lead 93-82. They lead by 11, 9 minutes 30 left on the clock in this final quarter. Whitehead gives it to Gordon, inside to Simmons. Simmons for the 2, has the shot blocked by Reese. Reese gives it off to Lachlan Armfield. Lachlan Armfield drives all the way, can't make the basket, put the rebound, and Steve Hood finally cleans up for Canberra and scores the 2 points. Let's go back to Dean Templeton.
Yes, well, Lanard Copeland, the star import for the Tigers, coming back into the game. He's had quite a long rest, so I think he'll go the rest of the 9 minutes of this quarter.
Yes, he comes in with 28 points behind his name. That's a nice sub to make, and you're quite right, Dean. Copeland probably rested 6 or 7 minutes, so he'll be fresh, and he's very much mismatched. Lachlan Armfield at the moment is trying to guard, and there's a very, very great height mismatch in that matchup as we look at it now. Armfield does a good job, got some help from teammate Phil Smythe that time, but I think the Tigers are going to work on that one. In fact, we see it now.
Lanard Copeland now has 30 so far. Armfield down the other end, can't make the 2 points, and the Tigers seemingly in control of this match. It was a good sign considering Copeland's been the top scorer tonight and spent most of the time off the bench when the Tigers went further ahead.
Yes, the Tigers have been able to use 8 players very well in rotation in this game, and seem very comfortable. Each one's come on, done their bit. Copeland left alone. Somebody got tossed out of bounds. Whitehead hits the net. Now we've got to make the determination when the score and the foul were made. So the determination that the foul occurred on Whitehead prior to the shot being taken. Now Whitehead didn't take the shot, but that still cancels that shot as the whistle goes. So the penalty there is side ball to the Tigers and no score to the Tigers. But we see Hood picking up the foul.
11 points in front, Melbourne.
Actually, it was Phil Smythe, so he's now drifting into foul trouble. He's got 4.
Simmons to Whitehead, who was sitting under the basket with no one near him, and Whitehead just had the easy layup for 2 points, and Stephen Whitehead now, 20 points. He's had an excellent night. Reese for 3. Foul is called against Steve Lanard.
I was watching Lanard and Stelzer battle for the ball. Lanard was really getting around Stelzer, not letting him get the ball in, but when the ball was shot from the top of the key, Stelzer was on the inside, and Lanard got into his back as he chased the rebound. And so we'll see the one-on-one situation as the Tigers have 5 fouls in this quarter. And he hits the first end of the one-on-one and gets another one.
Twelve points, Melbourne in front at the moment. Stelzer now has 7. The margin back to 11. 8 minutes remaining in this final period. Copeland with the ball for the Tigers, number 21.
Ooh, very loose play that time. Tigers lucky to get out of it as the Cannons be very desperate on defense now. Hit the ball into Copeland. He misses it. Strong rebound by Stelzer. Came crashing down from the foul line to wipe that up. Smythe got wrapped on the back of the head for his troubles, but he's still out there directing traffic.
And they hurt too. Clever pass by Smythe the Hood. Can't make the basket. Slapped away by Simmons into the hands of Whitehead. He's looking for support. Gives it off to Lanard Copeland. Copeland drives. No, he doesn't. He gives the pass off to Purchase.
The Tigers a little bit loose with their ball handling. 7.5 minutes to go in the game. Now's not the time to start Larizing. 11 points can be eaten up quick. That's good defense. Armfield blocks it, but in his follow-through, collects Lanard Copeland. Tell you what, I've watched Lachlan Armfield get up a few times. He's not exactly the world's tallest guy, but he's got some springs.
Yes, a little bit unlucky there to be fouled, but it was there. Copeland goes to the line. He has 30 points. There's that ring again, Bill.
I've been watching that. That ball likes to, boy, it comes out quick too, and it doesn't hit the sweet spot. It's bouncing all over the place.
Copeland makes the second free throw. Moves on to 31 points. Tigers in front by 12, 98-86, 7 minutes remaining in this final period.
The Cannons shooting percentage, which we saw 3/4 times above 50%, is fading quickly down to 45, but Stelzer hits it too, and that'll bring it up marginally. In fact, it does to 46%.
98-88. Tigers seemingly in control. Purchase. Number 12 gives it to Copeland. Copeland all the way. Basket won't stick. Smythe comes away for Canberra. Gives it to Armfield. Back to Smythe. Out to Reese. Reese drives all the way. Foul is called, and it's a charging foul against Reese. And that's his 5th foul. He doesn't like it.
Let's look at the defense here. Lanard got to the spot first. Reese hadn't left the ground. Lanard just a split second. Tough call by the official. It looked right on replay, but it's such a near thing because if Lanard had got in there after Reese had left the ground, that foul would have gone the other way.
10 points the margin. Melbourne turn the ball over. Smythe comes away for Canberra. They trail by 10. Hood for 3. Foul is called in the act of shooting.
And he'll get 3 foul shots. This is the penalty. Hood trying a 3-pointer. Purchase runs out at him, fouls him. And now we'll see the penalty in this situation. Because he was denied a chance to make a 3-point shot, he'll get 3 foul shots.
And of course, if that had gone in, he would have got the extra one to make it 4 points. But as it stands, Hood with 3 free throws.
Copeland shooting 4 out of 6. That makes it 4 out of 7. So not having a real good night from the foul line.
Steve Hood.
Steve Hood, I'm sorry, Copeland. Looking at the wrong statistics.
28 points now to Steve Hood, who after a slow start has really got on the scoreboard in this second half, keeping Canberra in it. 98-90 the score. Melbourne still in front. 5:50 left on the clock in this final quarter.
Canberra going to win this one. It's got to come from their defense at that stage. That's good. That's a miss. That's another chance that the Cannons can climb back into the game. Armfield drive to the basket. That ball's come off Simmons. Armfield did all the hard work getting by a number of Tiger players, but missed the lay-in. But the Cannons get it back. 8 points of difference. 5:43 remaining to play. Cannons still in this with a chance.
Hood with the ball for Canberra. Gives it to Phil Smythe, the playmaker for the Cannons. Instead of pushing off the ball, let go. Smythe, clever pass back outside to Steve Hood for 3 points. And he sticks the three-pointer, and Canberra will not go down without a fight, and they trail now by just 5 with plenty of time left on the clock. They will not die, the Canberra Cannons. They've come back.
But look at the three-point shooting. The Tigers shooting 50% from the three-point line, and the Cannons 47 from three-point range. That is excellent shooting from both teams. Excellent shooting.
Whitehead, 2 points for Melbourne. He has 22. Margin back out to 7. Steve Whitehead having an excellent game tonight. Timeout is called here with the Tigers in front, 100-93. 5 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in this final period, and the Cannons have showed twice already, Bill, that they're not done with yet, even though the margin's 7 points.
Well, they certainly aren't, and their ability to score from three-point range is very important. They've attempted 17 three-point shots and hit 8 of them, 47%. That is excellent three-point shooting. The Tigers are shooting 50%, but they're 4 from 8. So that remains a danger in the back of everybody's mind. Let's listen into Barry Barnes giving what may well be his final sideline instructions in the timeout to his team. Let's go to Lindsay Gates. I was looking at the match stats here, 7 points of difference. Field percentage, that's on all shots, includes three-pointers and two-pointers, doesn't include free throws. 51%, still good shooting by the Tigers, but it's come down as the game has gone on longer. I think the first quarter was 62% or something outstanding like that. 45, that's ordinary shooting from the Cannons. Free throws, 57 from the Tigers is abysmal as a team. 75 is excellent. And down we go, and we still come down to that bottom line in the turnover column. Big difference there, and perhaps that's the difference on the scoreboard.
Let's go down to the floor, and Dean Templeton.
Yes, I'm right in the middle of the Tigers huddle, I should say. Lindsay Gaze looking to run some special plays to try and relieve the pressure that the Cannons are putting on them. And I think you'll see them looking for Lanard Copeland a little bit in the next few minutes.
It's quite obvious at this stage of the game, the Cannons defense has to put up some stops on the board. That is, Melbourne gets the ball, they have to stop them from scoring. That's the only way they're going to get back in. Whether it's a turnover or missed shot really doesn't worry them too much, as long as they keep the lid on the ring.
Steve Hood in and out. Basket won't go. Sibley with a strong rebound for the Tigers. And they're away again through Stephen Whitehead, number 33. Gives it to Warwick Giddy. To Sibley. Sibley drives all the way and gets a nice two-pointer. Robert Sibley. He now moves into the 20s.
Excellent play by Sibley. I was watching his eyes. Even at the last minute before he released the shot, he was still looking perhaps for somebody to pass off to. Refocus quick enough to bang it off the backboard.
Smythe for the Cannons. Armfield. Foul is called against Lanard Copeland. And that is Lanard's 4th foul.
And Tigers again in the penalty situation. They've got 17 fouls in the 4th quarter. Therefore, a foul like that results in a 1-and-1. Copeland just on the side, not really getting in the path of Armfield. So Armfield to the line, 1-and-1. Might also add that the Cannons have picked up 5 team fouls in this quarter, so that's good for the goose, is good for the gander.
Armfield makes the first of the free throws. And makes them both.
Very impressed with this. Very impressed with Lachlan Armfield's this youngster's composure. Well coached, plays all aspects of the game. Looks to have a really, really good future.
Yes, Armfield only 20 years old. We've got a couple of 19-year-olds as well, Zorner and Witowski. So there's plenty of promising young basketballers in the Cannons lineup. As Lanard Copeland fires in another 2, he has 33 points, and the margin back out to 9 with 4 minutes remaining.
Boy, he really is a freewheeling player. Smythe tries a 3. Yes!
Bill Smythe moves up to 13. On the fast break, the Tigers. Dave Simmons with the ball. 2 defenders manage to get back. Simmons misses the first attempt, but manages to get the rebound and settle things down for Melbourne.
Well, the Tigers really don't need quick shots. The clock is their ally at the moment. They may as well use a bit of it. The only quick shot they should get is a sure lay-in shot. Nearly a turnover. Reese working very hard, nearly stole the ball twice, ended booting it out of bounds. We don't have the advantage of knowing what the 30-second clock situation is left, but it has to be pretty close to 10 seconds before the Tigers have to shoot.
Simmons can't make the 2 points. Smythe cleans up for the Canberra Cannons, gives it off to Jamie Kennedy.
Only 6 points of difference, a couple of 3-pointers. Reese inside, no rebounders home when he missed that shot. It was a good move. He just missed the basket, and gee, that would have been interesting if they could have drawn back within 4. 3 minutes to go in the ball game. 104-98.
Simmons for Melbourne to Stephen Whitehead. Inside to Copeland. Can't make that one. And Phil Smythe comes away with the ball for Canberra, looking for some support. Jamie Kennedy back out to Smythe, to Hood. Hood drives to the basket. Can't make it. Good rebound by Reese. Ball knocked out of his hands, but it is a Cannons ball from the side.
Well, Hood once more trying to penetrate off the dribble, getting close to the basket, worming his way inside, and we saw him shift the ball to his left hand, which isn't his shooting hand, and missed the shot. Reese was in there bullocking, had the ball batted out of bounds out of his hand. Cannons get it back. 6 points the difference. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining to play the game. Giddy just inches it from Hood.
Lanard Copeland jams it for 2 points.
And I think an intentional foul was called. Let's look at it here. Giddy just highway robbery on Hood. Came up. Give me that. Does. Kicks it out now. We see the fast break. Sibley to Copeland. And he's fouled. And the referees have called an intentional foul. I think that's a bit harsh. I think the player that was in there that picked up the foul was playing an honest attempt to play the ball. So the penalty here is he'll get his bonus foul shot because he did shoot, was fouled in the act of shooting. But because it was intentional, there is a further penalty, and that is that the Tigers get the ball back from the sideline. So that's a tough call against the Cannons. And the Tigers have a real chance here to drive their margin home. They lead now by 8 points with 2 minutes and a half to go.
Simmons for Melbourne. Looking to use up a bit of the clock. Copeland. Simmons again for Melbourne. Tries to get the pass off to Giddy, but it's intercepted by the Cannons, and they're away through the agency of Jamie Kennedy. Kennedy gets the pass to Smythe. They need to do something quick, smart, the Cannons. Reese with the fadeaway jump. Can't make it. Sibley keeps it in play, but swats it straight to Kennedy, and Kennedy makes the 2 points.
The Tigers here want to be very careful with the use of the ball. There's nearly another pinching job by Jamie Kennedy that time. Players that are receiving the pass have to move towards the ball because they can't allow the defensive player to get in the passing lane. Everybody's got to move towards the ball. The Tigers are standing around. Minute 30 to go.
Lanard Copeland tries for the shot. Foul is called. 44.
Foul was called on Steve Hood. And it was a shooting foul. And Lanard Copeland, I think, can cinch up this game if he hits both ends of these foul shots. 8 points of difference with a minute 27 remaining to play. Probably is too big an ask for the Cannons. We have a timeout. And we'll try and bring the strategy, I think, from from Barry Barnes, because the onus is really on the Cannons at this stage to make something happen. They trail by 6, a minute 27 remaining to play, and worse luck for them, Lanard Copeland's on the foul line with 2 foul shots.
Let's see if we can hear Barry Barnes. It's a little bit noisy to hear Barry, but what would he be saying to his players, Bill?
Well, he's got to set up the play. I mean, firstly, they're at the stage now, particularly if Copeland hits the foul shots, that they've got to be looking to set up 3-point shots at the other end. Probably will come down, get the ball into Reese, and then try and dump the ball back outside for somebody circling around that 3-point arc. And then immediately they have to pick up the defense, and perhaps they need to foul as soon as the ball gets in. If they can't steal the inbounds pass, they probably have to foul, take the one-on-one at the other end, and hope that the shooter misses. That's the only way that they can get back into this game.
Don't forget, tomorrow night, live and exclusive on Network 10, a feast of basketball. Let's have a look at some of the games. Adelaide takes on North Melbourne at the Clipsal Powerhouse. That'll be a crucial game. Perth play host to Geelong. Brisbane play the Hobart Tassie Devils. Sydney take on the Canberra Cannons, who have to double up and go up to Sydney. And the game here in Melbourne to be telecast live and exclusive. The new boys on the block, Southeast Melbourne Magic versus the Illawarra Hawks. Check your local guides for all the details.
And Dean, did you pick up anything during that timeout?
Barry Barnes is very keen for Jamie Kennedy and Phil Smythe to take the 3-point shot.
I bet he was.
And if it gets down to the clutch, he wants to foul Warwick Giddy. He wants the Cannons to foul Warwick Giddy. He figures he's the worst free throw shooter on the Melbourne Tigers team.
Well, the Tigers may not be giving the ball to Giddy, and they're in a position that they have to get the 3-point up and then foul instantly whoever gets the ball. Minute 20 to go, 8 points of difference.
Lanard Copeland, 37 points so far in the match. Tremendous effort. Giddy almost affects the steal. In fact, he does affect the steal. And Warwick Giddy jams it. Goes all the way for the Tigers. And that'll be just about the ball game. 10 points the margin. Great basketball, Warwick Giddy.
That's the second time we've seen Giddy just come out, highway robbery, pinch the ball. This time he goes the whole way. The last time he dished off to Copeland for a big jam. And you'd have to say that it's now money in the bank for the Tigers. 110-100, a minute and 2 seconds remaining to play in the game.
Warwick Giddy. 2 crucial steals in this final period, and really made them both count. 10 points the margin now with a minute 2 left on the shot clock.
You know, Steve, this just shows how great a game the basketball is. You don't have to score points to have a great effect on the game. There's many aspects of the game that you can be a valuable player for the team other than just scoring points. Kennedy goes inside for 2. They needed 3.
Margin back to 8 points, 50 seconds left on the clock.
Now the strategy here for the Cannons is to try and steal the inbounds pass. If they can't, I believe that they will immediately try and foul. That is, they'll try and foul trying to get the ball loose, but they won't mind if they make contact. And they can't catch up to the ball. That's a bit of a worry, because this time off the clock is very, very precious to the Cannons. There's the double team in the corner. Copeland throws the ball away. No, Sibley hustles and gets it and then throws it away himself. But they ate off about 23 seconds off the clock, leaving 34 to play.
110-102. Tigers have this game wrapped up. Hood for 3 points. Won't make it. And a big rebound for Robert Sibley. Foul is called on Jamie Kennedy, and Steve Whitehead shall go to the line for Melbourne. Had no alternative but to foul.
Blue. We just noticed the 2 scoreboards have a discrepancy of 10 seconds on the clock. I think that's probably why we got confused at that 30-second count at the end of the 3rd quarter. One says 21 seconds remaining to play. I think that's the official clock. Oh, you'd have to say that the Tigers are safe now. But didn't the Cannons give them a scare? Every time the Tigers looked like they were going to cruise away, the Cannons came right back in them. This is a good team. Once they play a little bit more together, the Cannons are really going to become a tough competitor in the Mitsubishi Challenge.
Reese gives it off to Kennedy. Kennedy for 2 points. Can't make it. Snapped away by Simmons. Armfield. Foul is called against the Melbourne Tigers, and Armfield shall go to the line.
Armfield was fouled in the act of shooting a 3-pointer. That wasn't the most positive whistle I've ever heard, but I suppose with 1.8 seconds remaining to play in the game, that some of the players would just as soon if that foul hadn't been called. but Lachlan Armfield to the line with 3 foul shots.
Eight points to Armfield. This is the second. Of course, he has 3 attempts because he was fouled outside the three-point line and makes the third. 1.8 seconds left in this game. The Tigers lead by 6. Long pass from Simmons, looking for Sidley, who taps it up for Warren Giddy. Sensational finish by the Tigers, and they are punching the air and wide with the but up the other end of the court, the Melbourne Tigers celebrating a magnificent win in front of their new hometown crowd here at Flinders Park, the National Tennis Centre. Magnificent performance from the Tigers, who probably started the match the underdogs, slight underdogs. Let's go to Dean Templeton, who's with the hero for the Tigers tonight, Lanard Copeland.
Lanard, 37 points tonight. Sensational performance in the new stadium. How do you feel?
I feel great. We had a great effort by all the guys. Our fans come out to see us play, and if we can get more fans out, it'll be just as good next time.
A great performance by yourself, because Andrew Gaze will be back next game. Do you think you're going to get 37 again with Andrew?
Maybe I won't need 37 because Andrew's a great player, but if I need it, I can get it again. And with Andrew on the other wing, it's just going to help our team much more.
It's a fantastic performance by yourself, and it's a great first game for the Tigers, so I suppose you've got a lot to look forward to for the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah. We got a great team. We got a great bunch of guys, so we're just going to try to win every game we can, come out and play hard every night.
Great game, Lanard. Congratulations.
Thank you.